What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey. I'm Shakira. Right. Well, it's a little later than usual, but I have been up since 5, just doing kitty stuff. But it's time for practice, so let's get tiny. Alright, I think some days I make myself too tiny. Let me know down in the comments. I don't know. Alright, so yesterday was fun. Work was busy, but I still managed to eke out a 9 handle run in the afternoon on my demo account. I'm also simulating what the fees would be approximately. It's not quite right. I'm sure it's more than that, but not bad for um my first demo trade. ICT noted that we should reset it, so I did. And that was my very first one. I've been tape reading entirely since then. All right, so I want to do a bit of practice. Obviously, they took my sell side from yesterday, and I'd eked out the new week opening gap for actually let's take a look here. Does that oh, I still had a sample here. Let's clean up a bit. Don't need all of this stuff that's already passed and gone for the moment on here. I'll leave that because there's still some of it left. And they're probably making their way down to this fair value gap that I found. That's between here and here. Now, the new week opening gap from January 23rd, they came, they saw, and they plowed right through it. So now we're just kind of hanging out underneath. A couple of areas here that we can clear out. Since time, that buy side's still there, but we're way, way below that. So I'm just going to get rid of all of this stuff. It's another gap. There's a volume imbalance that they played around in for quite some time, as you can see. Very cool. I'm gonna leave that up just so I know. In the meantime, Kitty has like bird sounds going on in the background. So if you hear any weird chirping and stuff, that's what it is. So I'll leave those higher time frame line items. So I'd spec'd out these two sell sides as areas of interest for me. We have some buy side inefficiency, sell side imbalance. So there's a lot of buying going here. They came and rebalanced some of it here, but there's still more. So, I mean, they could come all the way down to 3,900 if they really want to. Okay, so just for funsies, let's dip out to let's leave this as is and let's go take a look at, say this. This is the 1 hour, so keep that in mind. This is where we're at in 15. This is what it looks like in 1 minute. And I have the NASDAQ below here just for SMT divergent stuff, so let's save that. Let's dip over to my weekly new week opening gap. So all of these are new week opening gaps. This week's is the green ones, 40.8750 to 40.5225. We plowed through this one without any care for the world. All right, so what are we doing? So first things first, I'm just gonna hide all of this and let's drop up to the monthly. Let's start from the monthly all the way down. And what I'm gonna do is, since let me grab this guy. Use January. Sorry, yeah, they're gonna come back in. And so still worked our way in here. We took this wick out. We're almost at practical equal highs here. I'm sure that's gonna be a nice draw. This month's candle seems to be trying to dig further into this last month's green candle. So, you know, poor kitty getting his little wheeze on. On this one, I'm going to add the look back on the cast forward stuff so I can reference that. I thought I had it, but it must have gotten deleted from one of my other. So let's just do that really quickly. So it's about 60 days approximately. Let's adjust this to show the bar range. Oh wow, oh, this is weeks. My bad. So just that's definitely more than enough. So 60 days. Let me just plot that there. 60 days. Okay, and then let's clone that. Just gonna plop it this way. 60 days forward. Look back, cast forward. Let's clone this. Let's make this 40 days. Uh, 40 days, clone that. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to see where we are in the cycle, in the data range cycle, in the market, that's what I'm looking for. Probably not gonna find the right word, but the point is, I'm looking to see how price has moved in the last 20, 40, 60 days. 20. Switch that. And I'll leave this in this one because, yeah, let's clone that. And let's do that. Okay. 60. Okay, it's not perfect, but let's say that. All right, so what do we have? Basically, we're just delineating the highest high and the lowest low. And, practice makes perfect. I'm just going to keep doing this over and over again until I get it right. So 60 days, the highest high is still this guy right here, which they took in the first 20 days. And then the lowest low in the 60 days is still all the way down here. They haven't come anywhere near that yet. 40 days, the highest high is still this one. Again, they took it. And the lowest low in the 40 days was actually this guy. But they came close, relative equal lows. They didn't take it. The highest high for the last 20 days was still this one. And the lowest low, this one. They haven't even come remotely down to it. Now, what have they been doing for the last 20 days in terms of like areas of interest, right? And then we can look at like PD arrays on the on the higher time frames, right? So they've taken this high, the wick and all, they closed the body above it, and they've been consolidating and then dipping into this fair value gap. They've dropped below it, ignoring this bullish order block. And now they've dipped into these two down candles and the wick working their way down. I believe they've hit consequent encroachment on that. So they have the rest of the week to play with. Fair value gap right in between this candle and this candle on the daily for them to play with. And we've got these three down candles, so bullish order blocks. They're hanging out inside of it. So we'll see. So we've got fair value gap, bullish order blocks. We'll see how they behave when they dip into the new week opening gap from January down here. See if they want to turn around. If they take this out though, I think most definitely, because we had a shift here the intention is to continue down lower and take these guys out. But I don't really, expect that type of shift. It's quarterly, right? So in 20 days, they've managed to take out a high, no shift. 40 days in progress, they've come back down, had a bit of a shift right there. Now the question is, what are they going to do with it? And then we'll see what's going to happen in 60. And it's just interesting. Are they coming back into anything interesting? So we had a shift here. Price dropped. We rolled through. So I think we have in these two candles, we have like what is essentially a breaker block. In these up candles, because they're like bearish um order blocks, but then price rallied through them, broke through. So we have breaker blocks in this general vicinity. So we'll see if that's going to be enough to hold it up and turn it around. Of course, they're coming back into bullish order blocks here. I think I already mentioned that. Fair value gap. Oh my goodness. So we've got breakers here, bullish order blocks here, fair value gap right there that they're digging. They might come back into it. And then this wick here. I sometimes forget the whole mitigation block thing too. Let me see. It'd be something like this. Right? So this would be the mitigation block. I don't know if we should take this wick into consideration for that. And I guess we're also inside of a mitigation block right here too. Interesting. All right. That's enough for the high level. I figure we could try and find a setup prior, since actually, sorry, let's go to Forex Factory because I have a vague, recollection that we should have like FOMC or something today. Okay, at 2 o'clock. So usually you want to be done with whatever you're doing first thing in the morning, in the morning session, and then be out of it before these talks. Who's even talking anyway? Let's see. Meeting minutes scheduled 8 times per year. I guess it doesn't say who's talking. It's just that the meeting minutes will come out. Well, it is a news driver. All right, well, let's see. What do we have to play with? So looks like we took the sell side and we're hanging out inside of it. See what the 15-minute looks like for a prep. I mean, just as a general, it's been pretty bearish, sorry. It's been pretty bearish for a while. The fact that they're just kind of consolidating around this general vicinity, I don't know. In terms of structure, if I'm gonna be honest, what would I be looking for? Well, there's obviously with these equal highs up here, there's obviously sell side up here. Sorry, buy side. I always, sometimes when I'm driving cars, I'll be like left when I mean right. It's not a good idea. Sell side hanging out very close by under here. They've taken this. I'm gonna just remove that. Let's reassess what we're looking for here. I'm gonna dip out to, since we're so close to it, I'm gonna dip out to the 1 hour and let's see. Let's move over to the right here. That's taken. All right, so what else is in this general vicinity? So yeah, so the next thing of interest is this fair value gap over here. me clean it up. There we go. And then sell side down, all the way down here. So they're digging into this BISI, buy side inefficiency, sell side imbalance. They dug a bit into it here, but they took that out already. And now they're slowly making their way down. So I'm going to take that pretty quickly here. All right, so my initial bias at the moment is very short. Whoops, click in here. All right. So let's see. And I have the NASDAQ down here just for funsies. Here they come, about to take it. Now, 5:45, so, I don't know if something's going to show up somewhere between 7 and 8:30 for me to take. I don't know if I'll be on here long enough to do something, but here they are tapping it. And let's see, what do we have on the NASDAQ? Oh, that's higher than, about equal. That's higher. Let's see. About the same. Okay, so I'm not really seeing any diversions or anything in NASDAQ 'cause everybody's doing the same thing. So ICT also mentioned it's a good plan to pay attention to the Dow as well. So I'm just gonna open up my back testing. Whoops. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is a new tab. Let's find the Dow. Is that what it is? I don't, you know what? This is my first time looking for it. Okay. Dow Inc. Dow. There it is. YM. How is that a good? Okay, and the Dow is looking. On the 1 hour. It's looking about the same. Oops. Let's look at this, the 1 hour and this guy. Just doing a quick comparison. Yep. Okay, so everybody's in alignment, I think. Which is good. All right, so what do we have? They took sell side right here. I'm expecting them to drop further. What do we have to play with? Let's dip up to the 5 minute. That's annoying. Okay, so there's a fair value gap right here they could climb back up into. Let's move that out of the way if they feel like it. Given the way they've dropped, I expect it to be a bit of a breakaway gap, but kitty, I can hear him breathing. It's just so rough. Poor thing. So I don't know if I'm gonna get anything at the moment. I need them to break out of this. Been consolidating quite a lot in here on the 5 minute. This was a beautiful drop though. And what did they leave us? Like a nice break. They came back up into this order block. Fair value gap. So if you'd taken the wick is really long, so you probably could have taken the entry from the wick, the body too. Fair value gap's all the way down here, so I would have had my entry here. And okay, so let's just analyze this. So what would have been my target, right? So I'd be looking to the left here. This would have been my sell side that I would have been looking for. So then that means that my target would have been the next portion of the Fibonacci that fell below the sell side, which would have been here. Beautiful. Spot on. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that would have been. Gorgeous. Well, we would have been getting it here. Sorry. Because then my entry would be here. We would get really close to it. We'd come right back up and meander about and then be annoying. But that the target would be perfect. Ah, they're expanding. All right, so the move's already in progress, so there's nothing for me to do. Unfortunately. And I guess with the entry here, I would have been looking for here. And this would have frustrated me to no end. So, but it's okay. I wouldn't have been awake at that time. I'm still in my little bed sleeping. Anyway, let me clear this out. All right, so they've taken cell side. What do I want for them to continue? Right, so we're not going to force anything, right? They've left from this area here. Here's Fair Valley Gap right here. And let me refine this one. Now that we're on the 1 minute. Here's that guy. I think that's a breakaway gap because they just kind of ran off. Give you small, quick opportunities at these up candles. For this one, I feel like they're gonna come back up into this fair value gap. The question is, will it remain as resistance? So I don't really need them to come back up. But generally I find they like to dive back up into the bigger areas closer to the main breakaway. Because it, looks like they want to expand up from here back. Now, there's always the potential for, riding it back up to this guy if you really wanted to, but they need to give me some sort of structure. I'm not the bomb yet at just kind of knowing that they're gonna go back up. The only way I'd feel that comfortable if they'd hit like some sort of monthly or weekly PD array in the general vicinity. So just for funsies, let's check. No, they're just digging further into this. Now, mean threshold. Let's just, I'm just going to take the body. Mean threshold of this body looks like that's where they're digging down into right now. Mean threshold of the wick of that monthly. Let's see. Do I have something on the weekly in this general vicinity? Okay. So bullish order block on the weekly. They're digging into it. I'm going to delineate the sell side all the way down here. I think I'll wait until they actually dig into this, but there's consequent approachment on this wick to pay attention to us from a targeting perspective on the weekly. So let's just drop that down there. Keep those if we're going down and yelling timber, then I need to know what my potential targets and areas of importance are. Now, the other fun fact is the midpoint between the consequent encroachment and which is a quarter of the wick, which would be just above the sell side right there. So we'll see how they behave. That's what they're digging into at the moment. Anything useful on the daily, they're digging into. Well, for this sell side, I believe they've already passed consequent encroachment. I had that on there earlier for this wick. Yeah, let's delineate that and see how they behave around it. Let's get rid of that. Okay, see if it gives them any pause. And we're in the vicinity of this breaker block right here. So this is the 1 hour. Let's do that. And let's see. They've already taken the sell side, so I'm just going to delete that. And they're at constant encroachment. Oops, not 1 hour. Let's do 1 minute. These bird videos are super cute. Okay, look at how they're behaving around it, right? Let's see. Volume imbalance. Let's delineate that. So they're just, they haven't come back up into this thing, consolidating, thinking about what they want to do at the midpoint of this wick from the weekly. They're making this area fair. They've come back into it over and over again, painting it like, you know, price is pretty fair here. All right, so now they're gonna dig up into this. Still nothing to do. At least not for me. I'm still too new. I'm looking for situations like this. You know, Actually, let's do it the other way. Price is going down. Let's say I want to take a long, and then it takes the sell side, then it breaks, comes back down, and then I can continue it back up. I'm looking for that. Plop it to the right here. And then I'm looking for other scenarios like price going down, but then fails, a failure swing, like that, you know, sell side is taken here, here, potential order, some sort of fair value, volume imbalance, something in this general vicinity. Sorry. So they're gonna dig into this fair value gap. And I apologize, guys. I'm dealing with a small cold here. I've been telling it, you shall not pass, since like Sunday. Now, personally, I want to see them take out this intermediate high, only because there's a lower candle in between it, and it's got a fair value gap attached to it. I want to see them take that out. Then I can feel like they're gonna want to turn around and come back up, and maybe like dive for the sell side, the buy side here, here, and ultimately here. Ah, hello. Now I want this to turn into support. Come on, you can do it. Now, I need them to bust past it because these are bearish order blocks. I need it to become invalidated and become breaker blocks. That's not going to be quite breaker blocks, I don't think. Excuse me. But look at how they reacted at consequent encroachment. Interesting. And this is at a weekly candle, so they've taken care of this volume imbalance. I would consider this like the last line of defense. Equal highs right there. Okay, so they don't have a lot of intention. Gonna expand up further. Gonna turn this into support. Technically, we had. Nope. I was about to say we had a shift. No, we didn't. I'm still waiting on this. I don't have what I want, so. And I need like, say if I'm going long, then I need some structure to form, and that hasn't happened yet, so we gotta wait. Okay, while price is doing that, let's go take a look at Ethereum. Actually, let's take a look at the Dixie. And see what's up. So Dixie's expanded above this buy side that it had been dancing about for a bit. And now it's consolidating above it. So what's next? All right, so it's cleaning up the fair value gap that was in here. So there's still a little bit more for it to do. There is, I can move this now. My next area of interest for it is up here. So 104, 425 approximately. My real thing is up here. So 104, 675. But I expect that they'll if they're heading up this way, the next area is right here. 104, 419. So I'll still note it as buy side target wise. So they have two upward targets. They haven't come to take any sell side out, so they're still planning on continuing on up. They've made this volume imbalance quite they've cleaned that up quite nicely, but it's still thinking. So it's anybody's game at this point. Just come here. Okay, so they didn't take it, so they're just coming back into this order block, so you could take a short from here. Given that they're at this area of interest, I need to see something. So still not good enough to have the confidence because I don't see what I'm looking for. I mean, as a continuation, this is perfect. You know, take it here, stop loss here. And if you were to drop the fib on it, that's there. You're targeting. I mean, if your target is this guy, then you could set your thing here. But I don't know that I'm doing that. They're slowly showing me this right here. So this scenario. So I need them to break it. This guy right here. Break it. You can do it. And then leave me some kind of fair value gap. Other thing I like is that 3 beautiful down candles right here. There you are. Come on, expand. You can do it. I'm looking at my screen over there. You can do it. Still dancing around it. 13 seconds on this candle. You're gonna be decisive? There you are. Now they've made a shift. Now I can plan for a long. So let's see what that would look like. It's expanding up here. All right, so we need to see what this candle does, what kind of fair value gap it creates. My journal idea would be something like this. Be interested if I can just, I would be thinking about just writing it up to here, maybe just getting, that's 20 handles, perfect right there. Okay. I think this becomes a break a block since we're expecting it to continue downward and it got cleared, but not quite because it's not quite between a lower low or whatever. So I don't know. See if this scenario plays out. So we got this one gonna be very, very 3 down closed candles. So technically my entry should be up here. We have the shift. Just see anything else interesting. So it looks like they're gonna like dig most of the way into this guy. What's the Dixie doing? Just Switching about the Dow is, let's get down to the 1 minute on the Dow. All right, the Dow has also shifted, going up. Let's check, see what you're doing. You've also shifted. Hmm. Everybody's in general agreement, I think. All right. So everybody's made a shift, so no divergence. Maybe I should have considered this a shift because they came back down into the volume imbalance and then, went up. What would that have looked like? All right. So if I just wanted to dip into that, like so, I would have gotten that nicely. 20 handles right there. 22 actually. But not what I'm originally looking for, and I wouldn't have known that. Still too new to know that that's enough. But I guess, the counter trend trade back up to this order block right here is what I should have been, really paying attention to. Now, given that we broke out of this general range, could just be coming back up to this order block for a short. So let's see. I'm not taking anything. I'm just tape reading this one because I don't know. And there's a shift here. Price rallied. So we are here. So breaker block right here because price dropped below it. It might be this one. Still working on sorting those out. Okay. Just willing. So if I would have taken a short, given that that's the nature of the day, then inside of this, I want to get it from the, let's say, midpoint of this fair value gap, like right there. Stop loss right there. And then, aiming for below here, because then it would be, let's see, so that, what would be my target? It's quite a large range. Well, we're expecting it to drop further down, right? It's like I could either aim for just sell side or, you know, because we had quite a dramatic shift here and it broke us out of this thing, so. And it's the Dixie still listless. Also thinking, and what are you doing? So let's maximize this guy. So the NASDAQ made the shift. It's also inside of a volume imbalance, fair value gap. Now, if it takes this out, then, well, are we in agreement? Oops, let me full screen. So let me just do a little delineation here. What are you doing? Just gonna drop that on there. A buy side for them. It just tapped into it. No divergence. We're not perfectly trading together, but Okay. Mm, honestly, I'm still, I want to see what happens when it comes back down to this order block. I need it to, like, I'd prefer if it took this out. But it's playing around in here. This is why I'm tape reading and learning because otherwise I would be taking trades and holding them for the wrong take profits and all kinds of weirdness. I mean, just for funsies, is a long premise. You tap it there. If I was aiming, they come back down into these order blocks right here. And I'm looking for this guy, be aiming for this 4012. Mm. And in terms of premium and discount, I'm gonna be honest. If I delineate the high and the low of this, we're very much inside of a premium for this range. There's definitely equal highs here for them to want to take out. See, if I was better, I could have, felt better about the consequent encroachment down here and been able to take a trade, at least long back up to here. That would have been a nice little tap, especially when they came back and tapped the volume imbalance. Okay, so question is, do they turn this fair value gap into support? Sorry, not support, resistance. Let's take that off. And let's dig back into the 15-minute where this candle's starting at the top of this one. They've come back, it broke out of the range, they've come back into it. It's probably a short. Looks like ICT is going to live stream at 2:45. Okay, so it looks like it might. If I get 3 down candles, I need a bit of a shift from up here. So the opposite will be going up. I didn't take this out. So I'd like this. Right now they've come back into an area of interest on the 1 minute. What does this look like on the 5 minutes? So right now, these guys have, on the NAS side, they've turned around at buy side. They've taken it, but still meandering about. Might have to take a quick pause, y'all, and go deal with some things. There might be a bit of a delay when you come back as price action. It looks like it's turning it into support. So what would that look like? Like I said, if that's the case, you use this, that, and let's just minimize you. And now we've created new sell side for me to play with. So I want to below here, so I'd be aiming for that. Okay. Now, if there's 2 down candles and this doesn't expand up, that's what I would expect. So if we don't take this and we make a you take out this low right here, I'll take a short and aim for this below this guy right here. Because they've got to create some kind of structure, right? I prefer to see them take this out first. Okay, so here's what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna have to pause and run downstairs. I want them to take this out, leave that, and then give me an opportunity with some sort of fair value gap in here to take a short with something like just above there, all the way down to this guy, approximately. Something like that. So I'm gonna unfortunately pause the video right here, and then I'm gonna come back and see, oh look, they're expanding. They took it out. They take that out too? Yes, they did. There's also this and this. So sometimes you're in the move, sometimes you're not. Like I don't know, I didn't know enough to get in here. Oh, you know, it'd be nice if they turned this into a rejection wick. That would give me so much more confidence to take a short from here too. We'll see, but I'm gonna take a pause and I'll be right back. Well, I've returned and well, looks like they decided to take buy side out. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, they didn't give me the model I wanted, so I didn't get in the trade. But I really do need to work out this whole volume and balance thing. In any case, let's see. Yep, everybody's in lockstep. Dixie is dropping. Just once that happened, I would have been like, okay, well, it's dropping into order block, dipping back into this liquidity void here. See what it does when it gets out, let's just delineate that just so we can eyeball what it's gonna do while it's in there. It's taking pause in there though, as it does. Well, sad truth is, no trade for me this morning. uh, Something else might work its way out. You take this buy side yet? Let's dip out of that. Let's go into the 15-minute. ICT said no trading anyway, so no trading. I listen. So it tapped that, and now it's gonna take that. Nice. Beautiful. It's nice to watch though. And on the 15-minute, this is the real shift right here. So as far as I'm concerned, we've shifted quite nicely bullish on the higher time frame. And if let's delete this. You can see like the first quarter of my but see how it reacted at the consequent encroachment of that weekly wick. Let's go back. And then I'll close this out. So I apologize. I ran off for a bit. Sorry, it must have been a daily wick. My bad. Yeah. See how they reacted on it? Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. They just tapped it and said, no more. Not doing it. It could be short-lived. Or coming back up on the weekly new week opening gap from earlier, but today is oops. You know, if there's ever going to be an opportunity to do something, it would be in the morning. But ICT said just let it sit. Let's watch price, see what it does. So I won't be taking any demo trades. Okay. So the one takeaway that I can offer, and I'll close this video, is, you know, and I've mentioned this already, right? Is understanding how these volume imbalances, shifts in structure tap back in. I still don't know how to grade these scenarios where it doesn't give me what I need on the way back, right? I think I should have been okay with this shift right here. If I'm being honest, let's zoom in on it. When they took this out, I should have been okay with that. And then when they came back down, very obviously into this volume imbalance, draw it out so you can see. And then I should have been okay with an entry um, at one of these order blocks, preferably the one inside of the volume imbalance or just at the volume imbalance itself. Now, in terms of targeting, it would have had to be now that we had like a high and a thing right there, then, my original target was this buy side all the way up here, which they just took, right? So then what's next? 4017.25. There's only like $1 away from that, right? They're gonna get that. So that type of move in this morning, if you could trust it, my bias was kind of, let's say you got it from here, stop loss below that, 7 tick stop loss, aiming for the blue right there. What is that? 80 ticks on that one. But I'm nowhere close to being able to make that sort of that sort of thing now. But look, they're about to take it, and then I'll close this one out. Come on, there it is, right there. Bam, beautiful. They're gonna head all the way back up to this guy, so that could also be your target. But I think that's good. 80 ticks, beautiful. One day, I'm gonna know. I'm gonna understand enough about narrative and bias to be able to take this type of trade without the shift that I'm looking for and the retracement back. But I mean, I did get it technically, right? This lower shift here, and they retraced back. It didn't leave me a fair value gap, but it left me a volume imbalance. In my mind, it didn't occur to me that that could be my entry target. And that's why we keep doing this over and over again until we learn and understand what works for us. So, it's all good. And I apologize again for the long break, but oops, sorry about that. But it's nice to see what happened after I walked away for a bit. So most likely, if look at them reaching for that new week, the base of that new week opening gap. They're gonna tap it. They're gonna tap it. And honestly, if I'd been around for this, if once they broke this, and then they meandered here, I mean, what did we have? Let's delete that for a hot second. You had a nice little entry option here with this tiny, tiny void right there. And they closed the void in. So then you could have had an entry from here And inside of that void is also a fair value gap. But the void is more important, I think, for them to fill. And then they took off. And look at them go, heading straight for it. All right. See, I think I started this saying that they dropped down a lot in the last day, right? And they can't keep going down forever, but and that's why I was like, well, maybe we can give me something to go long from here. I didn't see what I wanted, or at least I didn't understand what I was seeing, and that's okay. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm learning. That's why I'm growing. I'm gonna kill this one here. Thanks so much for watching. I apologize again for the break in time, but I paused it and I had to walk off and you know mm, get some liquid libations and see my spouse out. But in the meantime, be safe out here. FOMC minutes are coming out at 2 p.m., so be careful whatever you do, okay? I will not be trading. I will be tape reading and watching how the markets book and learning from these scenarios right here. Learning from them. All right. Happy trading. Be good. Shakira out.